Hey guys, welcome to Investofy. Today we are going to go over what makes a stock ethically sound and perhaps Sharia compliant. We're going to look over a few parameters about what we go about when we are trying to research for these kind of stocks. There's obviously more detailed information that goes in, and that's why we have experts that help us make our final decision. But we can just show you a few basic traits of what a stock that might be Sharia compliant or ethically sound might look like. So here on the left in the middle screen we have some of our current positions that we have in the market, and the first one is GBT. GBT Therapeutics is a biotechnology company. So the first aspect is the industry. The industry matters because obviously if you're going for a Sharia compliant stock, you kind of want to do somewhat of a halal investment. You're probably not looking at companies like that are in the industry of gambling, alcohol, pork, firearms, credit services, insurances. So then it limits us to only a few specific industries that are perhaps in biotechnology, technology, education, and so on and so forth. So industry is important. The second thing is debt to equity ratio. That means basically whatever the company is worth on paper, that the debt level isn't too high. Ideally, you want to be keeping the debt less than 35% because it makes sense. If more than a third of your company is in debt, it kind of puts it on shaky grounds, and you don't want to be investing in a company like that can go bust tomorrow. The third aspect is the market capitalization. What is the market worth, or what might be the company's worth currently? And for that, you want to be looking at companies that are worth over $1 billion in most instances. Why? Because a $1 billion company has more backing, more financial, I guess, real estate to them versus a company that's worth $100 million. A $1 billion company is not going to crash overnight. So that's that. So these are very basic tools that we look at, but there's so much more in-depth details that before we even take any position, we have to confirm that on the back end, these companies are meeting those requirements, and that's what makes our company so unique, our services so unique. Okay, so GBT, let's just say it meets our standards. Now GBT was a stock that I sent a trade alert to our students at $16.45. As we can come on the right side, we're looking at the daily chart. So what that means is that each one of these little blocks, which is considered a candlestick, represents one entire day's of trading. Okay, so based on our basic parameters and our own personal proprietary algorithms that we've created, we were told, it showed us that GBT would be a good stock to buy once it goes above $16.40. So essentially at $16.45, you can buy this stock. That was the alert that we sent our students. And on February 7th, that's exactly what happened. The stock jumped and it broke out of that price of $16.45. So a buy signal was alerted and we bought this stock. Well, as you can see, over the next few days, the stock kept on increasing. First day, it increased by 5.3% in the entire value. The next day, 9%, and so on and so forth. And today, it is on March 10th, 2017, within just over a month, it is at $37. So imagine, we got in at $16.45 and it's at $37. We have made around $21 a share on this company. Believe it or not, the company is at 125% increase since we bought it. Most companies, big companies, move 10 to 20% in a year. This is a company that is Sharia compliant, and within a month, its value increased by 125%. That's the kind of stocks that we look for. That is our secret sauce, that we don't just want to give you ethically sound, Sharia compliant stocks that are perhaps halal investments, but also ones that will make you ridiculous gains with a little bit of risk. So where is the risk, you may ask? So when we told our students to buy it at $16.45, we also told them, hey, if the price of the stock drops below $15.70, the low of the last few days, get out. You take a small loss of 75 cents a share, and that's fine. If you buy 100 shares, you only lose $75. So you have limited your risk. You're not just buying a stock and then waiting for it to go down to $2 or $6. You're just gonna keep a very tight loss structure on it, and that's the beauty of this stock. That we are limiting our risks. We are taking it as a business. We're like, some businesses work, some don't. But if it doesn't work, we only lose a little bit of money. So once it hit $16.45, this stock just shot up. And as you can see, if you were risking 75 cents a share, we've made about $21 in return. So essentially, you would have made more than 25 times your investment, because you bought it at $16.45, you put a stop at $15.75 or $15.70, and it is now at 37. So you would have actually made around 30 times your investment. So if you were risking maybe only 1% of your portfolio, and let's just say you have $1,000 in your account, okay, and you buy just one share of this stock, which would be about $16 a share, and you're risking only 70 cents a share, right? So, okay, let's just say you bought about 10 shares of this stock. So you're risking about $7, which isn't much. You would have still made over $200 return on this, which is on a $1,000 account. You don't have a lot of risk, but you made over 20% return on your entire portfolio with just one stock in a month. That is powerful returns. People cannot give you those kind of returns in the market. Now, obviously, when you have stocks like these moving, there's also stocks that go down and you lose a little bit of money. That's why the key is to not put all your money in one stock. The key is to diversify them, because we really don't know which stock is going to shoot up and make a lot of money. But based on our algorithms, there's over 70% probability of stocks that once they break out of a price range, that they will continue to move up. That works for me if I can do that and make sure that they are Sharia compliant stocks. So this was just one example. Another one is Insight Corp, that has made over 13% gains for us. Texas MD is worth over 9% increase in its value. So we take stocks like these and they show up every day in the markets. And the thing is, just because a stock is Sharia compliant does not mean it might be the time to buy it. Let's take an example at Apple. Let's just say you buy Apple today at $139. Now, this company is something that is ethically sound, Sharia compliant, they are socially responsible, that's good. They check all of those. Now, let's just say you buy it at $139. Next thing you know, it's down at $130, $120. You just lost a lot of money per share. That's where our beauty is, that we actually take stocks right before they're going to start rising. So we would have probably bought Apple at around 120, because then, boom, it's made over 10% return in just a few months. And that's the thing, where just because a stock is Sharia compliant, ethically sound, has good fundamentals, that does not mean that it's the right time to buy that stock. And so the timing of the stock is important, because we are looking at these investments for long-term purposes, but long-term could mean anything, right? You could buy a stock now, and for the next year, it's just going down. It just keeps on dropping. And so you're like, dude, I'm just losing money on this investment. It takes it probably 2 years before it gives you a break even. Well, we try to remove all of that nonsense from the business. We try to focus on, okay, you know what? Let's give you guys ethically sound stocks at the right time before they start to shoot up with a very high probability of success. And I think that's what makes us unique. That's the same strategy that hedge fund managers around the world use. And so we're excited to provide this to the Muslim community, to everyone out there that is looking for ethically sound, Sharia compliant stocks that are undervalued and ready to make move. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Take care and have a great day. Bye.